Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 475. I am Brendan. PFL World Tournament 2025, number 3. This is gonna they need to work on their branding for this stuff. It's just not catchy. This is the first round between middleweights and lightweights. This was a better card than not the previous one. I didn't do a video on that one, but the first one, the PFL one for this year, but. They got to work on their branding. You can't PFL 2025 3 middleweights and lightweight. You got to come up with something different. You got to come up with a different way to brand this. You got to have somebody on your team who works for you who knows how to do this better. Because this is so frustrating. Even as a content creator, just labeling the things to keep up with them seems counterintuitive. You want to make it easy for people to read, but you want to make it easy for people to access and search for. But if you name it something that's so far off of what they're calling it, no one's going to find it. So you're like, do I call it what they call it? And then people have to type in 30,000 things to get it? Or do I make it simple and then hope that somehow people find it? Anyway. We're going to talk about Impa Kasanganay versus Fabian Edwards. The rest of this card, we're going to break it all down round by round, go through everybody here. We're going to do all this in one video. There's not that many fights. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to the channel. That way the next video is coming out, and I'd really appreciate it. All right. For those of you guys who've seen my PFL videos before, they don't offer really good stats. And in fact, they're as of late, it's gotten even worse. They used to provide statistics, like I'll show you, right? So they used to provide fight statistics, like the actual stats from the fight. Now they don't even show that, and there's no way you go back and forth. You're like, oh, I'd like to see more info on this. Nope, this is it. This is all you get is just their fighter stats, like how tall they are, their reach, and that crap, and their weight. So what I like to do is bring up the stats and then talk about things in an informed way, but they don't allow us to do that for whatever reason. So we're just going to go through. We're going to go through it. We're going to probably show the highlights. You can look them up on either Instagram or Twitter. I'll show as much of them as I can without getting pulled. But let's start talking about the actual fight itself, because Kasanganay won. He's just coming off of winning the tournament, and he's made a decent career for himself since he left the UFC. I think he was on the wrong end of that Joaquin Buckley knockout, and that really damaged his aura, if you call it that. But he was famous for just being the guy who got kicked in the face by Joaquin Buckley. And, his UFC career didn't pan out too well after that anyway, but he's enough of a talent where he's successful outside, and I could see him working his way back to the UFC, but if he's making enough money in the PFL, why would he? Whereas Fabian Edwards here, actually, the PFL has a worse presentation than GID stats. So this one's gidstats.com. Their images and website looks better than the PFL's website. And I just wanted to show you the pictures of the two so you can see who's fighting who. And it's better. It's unreal. Anyway. Kasanganay, right in his face, throwing big right hands. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Fabian Edwards is one of those guys where, his brother Leon ends up getting the UFC title, and he's fighting in Bellator, and he's trying to make his way up the ranks, but he's got the same weaknesses that Leon has with the wrestling, and outside the UFC, you can kind of get away with it sometimes, but you also run into people who are just really good wrestlers and not good at much else. You got a lot of guys who might be well-rounded, or they're just missing a couple things. They're missing something that would put them into the UFC. And if you get a lucky run, you can, with a good striking skill set like Fabian Edwards, you can make your way to a title. And he might be doing that this year. We shall see. Kasanganay gets right in his face, throwing big right hands, pressing forward. Kasanganay staying glued to him along the cage. Some good shots from Kasanganay. Took tight hooks. Edwards finally landing something with that straight, and he started cracking him with these elbows. You saw it in the thumbnail. As Kasanganay would step in and land a big shot, Edwards would catch him on the way in with an elbow. Ended up putting a big cut over his right eye. And, those were the best shots from Edwards in this first round, but Kasanganay landed the bigger shots, more of them, and then even if you thought they were about the same in damage, he was the one pressing forward, so I gave him that first round 10-9. Second round, again, those Kasanganay hooks are landing around the guard of Edwards. Edwards has a tight guard. He doesn't exit far enough or doesn't move off the center line enough. And Kasanganay able to go around that guard with those hooks. And Edwards landing that elbow. Kasanganay landing the right hand. So it was, and he staggered Edwards. Edwards got rocked in this round twice. And it was really what's going to happen first. Is it going to be a big shot from Kasanganay, or is it going to be Edwards catching him on the way in? Turned out to be neither. Edwards starting to find success with stabbing kicks up to the body, which he did find success in the first round, and then starts with his forward pressure, lands a big jab, and that spelled the end of it, really. He landed this one jab and turned it up enough and just continued constant output for a matter of not even 30 seconds. Right? It wasn't a crazy blitz, but it was just pressure, output, pressure, output, pressure, output, and he got the finish. I still think he'll get dominated by a wrestler in this division, but excellent performance by him. Kasanganay, I still think he's really good. This was just, he got into a bit of a firefight and came out on the losing end. Them's the deals is Gadzhi Rabadanov versus Marc Diakiese. This one ended it was not a premature stoppage. Let's put it, absolutely not. I don't think this was a early stoppage at all. I think the stoppage was fine. Oh, that's what I was going to show you. My bad. I'm sorry. I was going to show you the highlight. I can't show too much of it. All right, this right here, pop, that jab, and it wasn't that what led to the end, but he had landed one of those earlier, and that's what led to him getting the finish. All right, like I was saying, Gadzhi Rabadanov versus Marc Diakiese. I think, like I said, this was this fight ended a little prematurely for me. Not that it was a premature stoppage or an early stoppage. Absolutely not. Good stoppage, fine, no problems. It was just, I felt like there was more fight to be had here. Rabadanov catches a kick from Diakiese, and Diakiese falls down, and Rabadanov jumps on him and lands a couple shots from the ground and pound, and that's the end of it. Great finish by him. Absolutely. There's not a fluke. It's not an accident. This was all skill. It's just this circumstances that led to him getting to the finish were less than satisfying to watch. Not that it was a bad, I'm not disappointed that Rabadanov won, right? Not at all. I wanted to see more fight, right? That's me being selfish. I wanted to see them fight more. See, catches that kick, falls down, pop, 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 and that's the end of it. Again, did what he had to do. Found his way to victory. It's just, as a fight fan, wanting to see fights. I'd like to see a clean shot on the feet. I'd like to see a clean setup to submission. Something a little more expansive than a caught kick and some ground and pound. Anyway, moving on. Sadibou taking on Dalton Rosta. Sorry, bud. Again, if you guys have watched me before, you know my feelings on C. I think he is. I think he is he's not good for the sport, right? He's a boring fighter to watch. I think he did undeservedly made it to the title and poked his way and ran away to get $1 million. And I think him still being in the organization is bad for the PFL. I really do. He has a couple highlight knockouts, but if you watch most of his fights, a majority of the fight looks the way this one was going, right? And I said, let's see if C changes up his strategy or if he goes back to the same old crap that he always does. Let's see if he just keeps doing the same thing that he always does, which he ended up doing, right? Which is continuing to retreat, poke, and that's it. He retreats, runs, circles, runs, pokes with a kick, poke with a jab, run. And Rosta constantly pressing him to the cage. This is how C wins fights, by not wanting to engage. The dude just does not engage. Rosta ends the round with a big takedown, some good ground and pound, in my opinion. It did more than anything those poking shots did from C, so while he was backing up. So I gave this round 10-9 to Rosta. It's really hard for me to be objective when watching these C fights, because I think if you're retreating and just poking, you are not trying to win. You are not trying to end the fight. You are clearly just trying to win on points. So if the person slams you and lands a couple big shots on the ground, it undoes anything that you did that round if all you did was poke and run away. Now, if Rosta had not done that at the end of the round, this would have been C's round. All right, C is really trying to run off the fence, overreacting to every movement from Rosta. Rosta, like, throwing big shots, like, moving in towards, like, a little bit of a takedown setup. And he wasn't even going for takedowns. It was just the way he was, like, changing levels and moving towards C. C was overreacting to every one of those, ducking huge movements, running away. They exchanged kicks with Rosta landing the bigger ones, in my opinion. Rosta with a big overhand right, and then C curls up. He just quits. Like, he curls up on the ground. Rosta continues with the damage and then eventually works his way to this, which a beautiful Darce choke sets it up. They said he put him to sleep, but he did not. C did not go to sleep. No, he got the finish there. That was excellent. Great performance by Rosta. I'm just glad C's not in this thing anymore. It's not that other people couldn't have a boring fight. Obviously, we've seen all manner of interesting fighters have boring fights, Justin Gadzhi notwithstanding. But you know what I mean, right? There's a few fighters that are the exception to that proves the rule. But Sadibou sees his modus operandi is literally just make it boring, back up, run away, poke, poke, poke. So why would I want to watch that? Why would I want to see him more in the tournament? I don't want to see that. That's not fun to watch. It's as boring, if not more boring to me. No, it's as boring. I don't think it's more boring than someone taking someone down and holding them down for 15 minutes and doing absolutely nothing, not trying to advance. It's the same thing, right? You're not engaging. You're not putting forth offense. You're not trying to advance the fight. You're not trying to finish the fight. You're just trying to win on points. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Mads Burnell taking on J.J. Wilson. Wilson runs right across the cage going for the takedown. This first round was closer than any of the other ones. I think that Mads Burnell, I think his cardio gave up on him, and it's this grappling cardio. And, whether it's age or practice or time spent grappling, there's a lot of things that go into it. But the long and short of it is, grappling cardio is different than striking cardio. It's just a different mechanism that your body has to get used to. Okay, there's a lot more engaging of a lot larger muscle groups when grappling. And unless you have built-in stamina from doing it forever or a feel, there's a certain ability that you see very good wrestlers or very good grapplers in general. You can see it in judokas when they're standing. You can see it when they're on the ground too, but you can see it in jiu-jitsu artists. You can see it in these guys who are able to use the right amount of energy and put their body in a position to use the least amount of energy to get what they want. And it's not that you can't find your way to that position by doing something else, but it's usually going to consume a lot more energy. Whereas throwing a jab out there, yes, well tiring, and I agree. Like I've always said to people, or I've heard it put forth, and I've also said to people when they're saying like, "Oh, how hard is it to throw a jab?" Okay, you stand, don't even hit anything. Just stand in front of the mirror and throw 100 jabs, and you tell me how your arm feels. And that's you just swinging and not trying to hit anybody, or anybody trying to hit you, or doing anything else. And you tell me how you feel. So there is an element to cardio like that. But in this fight, we saw Wilson run across, go for the takedown. Burnell sprawls well, defends against the clinch, against the control, and gets his own takedown. They get back up. See, this is what I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting fight if this kind of thing goes forward. Wilson using the fence grab kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Burnell landing a small shot in tight, forcing Wilson to the ground, then back up. Wilson off the fence, throwing a ton of hooks, and he's really throwing a lot of volume out there as Burnell starts to shell up until he decides to pressure again. So it looked like he was already starting to get tired. Wilson ends the round by getting a takedown and control. And with this, because of the damage as well, I gave this first round to J.J. Wilson. Second round, Wilson getting the takedown immediately holds him down the rest of the round, 20-18. So this is what I'm saying. Like, it was one of those things that first interaction that you saw with Burnell when he sprawls and he defends well. Yeah, can you do that? You can do that once. Can you do it 3 times? Can you do it 4 times? Can you do it for 15 minutes straight? And in this circumstance, the answer was no. Now, a lot of things play into that, and I don't want to read too much into it, but J.J. Wilson was just a much better fighter. And then Wilson gets a control in this last round, holds him down, and then with 15 seconds left, the referee decides to stop it. I don't know if it was necessary to stop that one. I don't think he was taking crazy damage. I think that this it was inconsequential, right? Whether it's an early stoppage or not, it was all but over with. There was 15 seconds left, and Burnell wasn't really he wasn't doing anything to get up. So I have no problems with it, but I don't think he needed to stop that with 15 seconds left. Clay Collard versus Alfie Davis. Now, this one, on the other hand, I think was a bit premature. We will talk about that. Prelim. There was no prelims. All right. This is the fight. Clay Collard versus Alfie Davis. I do want to talk about this one. In the ending specifically. Okay, so well, let's kind of zoom through the fight because I think the ending was more important to talk about. All right, so Davis landing a really nice head kick and reversing the clinch to get into some control. Collard with the reversal, and he likes forward pressure, going with the foot stomps. Hate those, but it is what it is. Davis now looking kind of stressed as he throws some kicks to the body and retreats. Like he's just throwing literally anything at Collard to try and slow him down. And Collard keeps pressing in, keeps digging hooks to the body, trying to come up top. Then Collard kind of ducks his head. I don't think he was going for a takedown, but he ducks his head, and Alfie Davis spins and catches him behind the ear, right there, and catches him with the elbow, knocks Collard's equilibrium way off. And then he's rocked, trying to get back up and staggering a little bit, takes another shot. And, then the ref calls it. Well, here's the thing. The ref introduced himself. This is why I have such a huge problem with this. I want to see how much of this is shown on here. No. No. Show the damn thing. Okay. I want to find this because I want to show you guys. Oh yeah, they removed it. Of course they did. God dang it. Ah. This sucks. Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is, anyway, when a fight gets ended because your equilibrium is off, it's deceptive. Right? Oh, this is it. All right, here, there. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to try and not get pulled, so I'm going to have to go back and forth to this. All right, so watch this. All right, so he ducks, and then as he spins here, he catches him. That goes right behind the ear, right? He catches him right behind the ear, and then in this process, Clay Collard loses his balance, right? And yes, he's hurt, absolutely, right? When your balance is off, you're hurt, and he takes a couple of shots here. But the thing is, that referee right there, so he introduces himself. He introduces himself into the fight, causing a problem. Okay, he didn't stop it when he first stepped in. He went in there with the intent to stop it, but then changed his mind. I don't like these stoppages for a couple of reasons. One, if you are off balance, it doesn't mean you're not with it and you can't defend yourself. Yes, it looks bad, but equilibrium shots are different than when you get cracked on the chin or the temple. Equilibrium shots are literally your inner ear gets scrambled and you can't find balance, right? It doesn't mean that you're cognitively unable to complete tasks. The cognitive part is still active. It's just physical, right? And the same thing, like it's the opposite when you get caught on the chin or in the temple or big shot to the face. Like those are different types. It's a different type of knockout. So anyway, like that's the big difference. You're not knocked out. You are completely cognizant of what's happening. And I would have liked to see the referee give Collard just a little bit more time, maybe to pull guard, maybe to allow himself to sit down, because Collard trying to stand back up made that worse, right? It gave the visual impression that he was not with it. And yes, he was off balance, but had he gone to his back and then defended from there, like he doesn't have to worry about his balance. So yes, hindsight's 20/20, and he could have done that. Maybe he didn't. Blah 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 blah. I just wish he would have let it go just a little bit longer. Let him land a couple shots that actually put Collard out. Maybe let him land a few shots and get the TKO finish. But in my opinion, that was not a good stoppage. Not that I think it was a horrible stoppage, but Collard had a right to be upset. He even did a cartwheel afterwards, and the referee's like, come on, you barely did a cartwheel. Like, motherfucker, you go do a cartwheel completely sober without getting hit. You go do a cartwheel. Fuck off. The fact that he was able to do a cartwheel should show you, like, he's at least got something there. Anyway, Josh Silveira versus Mike Shipman. I did not see this going this way. After the first round, I thought for sure Silveira was going to be on the wrong end of this one. There were no prelims. They didn't separate this. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Josh Silveira is Conan Silveira's kid. Like, they've mentioned it before. I'm just not as familiar with him. But anyway, Shipman bouncing, looking to dart in and out with that right hand. Silveira pressing forward, but also waiting on the feet, not throwing a lot out there. Silveira is doing a good job of landing when Shipman comes in, and then he's just trying to exit straight back. And in the clinch, Silveira is finding some success with knees to the body and short elbows. Silva defends the takedown with the guillotine and the ninja choke. The Shipman, and then Shipman gets on his back, and then Shipman gets out of it, gets stuck in another guillotine, and turned into a nasty neck crank at the end of that round. 10-9 Silveira. My bad. When I said at the beginning of this that I didn't think Silveira was going to win this based off the first round, it was the second round. First round, I was like, okay, Silveira's going to walk through him. My bad. Second round, Shipman. All right, so Silveira back to just waiting and trying to avoid the shots from Shipman and not landing anything. Shipman really pushing him around this round, making Silveira be defensive. Good grief. Shipman goes for a trip. Silveira kicks his foot out and rotates on top of him with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Horrible takedown. Silveira was not able to do enough on the ground, but so I had it 19-19. So going into this third round, I was like, okay, if Shipman just stays on the feet and pushes forward, Silveira's done. I don't think Silveira's going to be able to keep up with him. Shipman just does what he wants on offense again, and then Silveira used the takedown like defense to his advantage, gets on top with a lot of time to work, and he stays on top for the rest of the round, gets the win 29-28. That is a smart performance by Josh Silveira. Not the most exciting fight in that third round, but it had a little bit of up and down drama round by round. Wow, this video's getting long. All right, speed run. I say speed run. It doesn't mean I'm going to go any faster. Brent Primus versus Vinicius Cenci. Cenci goes for a knee, and Primus catching it and getting him down to the ground and back gets onto his back. Primus standing backpack pretty much the whole entire round. These guys looked like they were moving through molasses, very slow. 10-9. Primus using the Cenci guillotine to roll under and get on top. That was a really cool reversal. Cenci able to get back up. Primus landing a nice shot and then failing on a takedown, ending up in bottom for the rest of the round. But there was not a ton of offense from either guy, and Primus was more active off his back, in my opinion, with that rubber guard. So I gave him that. I gave him this round. I had him up 20-18. Although if you gave this round to Cenci, I could understand. Both guys landing the jab, body kicks, and Primus gets the takedown, works his way to the back, and then Primus gets the rear naked choke finish with 10 seconds left. So had he been losing this round or whatever, it doesn't matter. He ends up getting the finish. So good on him. Yeah, there's only he's actually going for it with 19 left. He's cinching it up, gets underneath, and then with 10 seconds left, bam, there it is. Gets that finish. Excellent performance by him. Good job, Primus. 40 years old, still doing the damn thing. Love to see a good... I mean, the guy does not look 40. He looks like he's in incredible shape. Gotta love the testing that they do over there. or lack thereof. Aaron Jeffery versus Murad Ramazanov. Ramazanov standing straight up, jabbing well, checking kicks, and Jeffery pressing him to the cage and defending the takedown. Ramazanov able to get reversed, gets a takedown with some control time on the ground, and then Jeffery landing some shots on the ground as the round ends, with Ramazanov landing as well. Just control time this round, in my opinion. There was a lot of back and forth. Ramazanov had better positional control, even if he did nothing with it, so I gave him this first round 10-9. Second round, again, nothing really happening, but Ramazanov felt like he might have landed more, but Jeffery controlled him more, probably landing a lot. I felt like in space, I don't know. This second round was kind of close. I gave it to Jeffery. I felt like he landed more in tight, and he had maybe, I don't know, maybe he did more damage. So at 19-19, this fight was very weird. Last round, Ramazanov warned about putting fingers in the glove, but no point deduction, inconsequential based off the final decision. And then forward pressure from both guys. This fight kind of sucked. The actual offense in this round was Ramazanov. He should get this one, in my opinion. I had him winning 29-28, but they showed the stats, and I guess Jeffery outlanded him. I guess that they might have given him that first round. I can't see because those scorecards are not published. That's another thing that's a pain in the ass about the PFL. I'd love to be able to go through this with you guys, but I had a 29-28 to Ramazanov. That's not the way it went. They gave it to Jeffery, so that is it. The video is long enough. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of thing. That way you know this video is coming out. I really appreciate it. And if you do like this video, hit the like button. Like I said, don't want to waste any more time. Hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all. Peace.